What defines a Top Gun? In the movies, it's a dark pair of Ray-Bans, a catchy buddy quote.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
And a Kenny Loggins soundtrack. But in real life, the Top Gun men were not in it for the glory. Duty, honor, and country above all else defines their moral compass. They'll be the first to tell you that there are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. The best of the best comes at a price that many aspire to, but very few ever achieve. Tonight's honorees are a band of brothers that helped shape today's modern military, made history in aviation, valor in combat, and sparked the dreams of a nation. 239,000 miles from the beautiful blue glowing orb we call home, Alan Bean climbed down the Apollo 12 lunar module Intrepid's ladder, planting 1 foot on the ocean of storms, making him the 4th man ever to step on the lunar surface. It took 400,000 Americans, with their ingenuity and dedication, to make this impossible dream a reality.
I believe that people that worked in Apollo, they come to work at NASA, they want to be successful, they want the programs to be successful, and they make it that way. Human beings can accomplish so much more than they ever imagined. And our crew, Pete Conrad, Dick Gordon, and myself, we'd say, we can't do that, there's not enough time. And it took us maybe a day or two to change that over from we can't do that to how do we do that. Anyone watching this video is better than they know they are. I don't care how big their ego is, it's not big enough. Humans can do much more than they ever know.
50 years ago, when the Navy set out to open a new flight school for the top 1% of its pilots, it was Lieutenant Commander Dan Yank Pedersen that got the call. It was under Yank's direction that the Navy Fighter Weapons School, Top Gun, was formed, with procedures he created along with his 8 recruits. Pedersen taught the lost art of aerial combat, dogfights, and graduated some of the best fighter pilots in the world.
It was just like drinking out of a fire hose for a while. And then we started seeing it come together. We at least have a shot at making the changes we all believe. And it's going to be a collective effort. So we probably, if they accept the changes and it's successful, then it's worth doing. And what a rare opportunity. It's a little scary till you get going. But these guys, all of them, the original 8, were bigger than life.
3,200 flight hours, over 400 carrier-arrested landings, 65 combat missions over 4 deployments. Commander Jacob Nips Rosales demonstrates an unwavering commitment to the Navy's core values. Graduate of the Top Gun class, Commander Rosales is now the commanding officer of the VFA 41 Black Aces. His meritorious career is a true source of the warrior spirit that has pervaded VFA 41 since its initial inception.
To the next generation, I would say read aviation history. Know your roots, know what's in your DNA, know what defined you so that you understand what the fighter spirit is about, and that you never let that die. Stay passionate, stay hungry, stay motivated to teach others, and never let those original ideas that formed the basis of naval aviation ever go away. Because again, no matter how much technology changes, the people will always remain those same, just talented and dedicated individuals who make all this work.
As the former commanding officer of the Top Gun adversary squadrons VFC 111 and VFC 13, U.S. Navy Captain Jim DiMatteo has nearly 30 years under his flight jacket as a Navy fighter pilot. He has accumulated more Top Gun adversary flight time than anyone in the history of the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps.
Our whole objective is to fight against and train our next set of fighter pilots that are going out there. So our objective is not to win. Our objective is to teach the fighter pilots that we fight against to be better fighter pilots that next day. To be the commanding officer of a group of individuals that are like thoroughbred horses, it didn't take a lot of motivation. They had the work ethic, they had the professionalism. All I had to do was steer them in the right direction. It's a unique but fortunate situation to be a leader of a team of such professional people.
Military test pilot, air race champion, private plane innovator, aviator Clay Lacy is the world's most experienced operator of private jets. As owner of Clay Lacy Aviation, he holds 29 world speed records and the Top Gun patent aerial cinematography of astrovision. When we talk about aviation excellence, Lacy is a name synonymous with legend.
One thing about filming airplanes is that all airplanes want to film them in the air. Your camera has to be able to perform with the airplane. So the little Learjet's like a dolly in the system in the sky. This airplane's built like a fighter plane. In fact, the original design, parts of it, the wing and certain things were from a fighter plane built in Switzerland. They abandoned it and Bill Lear bought the factory and used a lot of the engineering and things to build the Lear.
At 70,000 plus feet above the earth, Major General Patrick Halloran might have escaped your radar on purpose. Halloran was one of the original group of pilots selected to fly the top-secret U-2 airplane for the Air Force. In missions over Cuba during the Cuban crisis and over Vietnam, he tested the limits of endurance in the high-flying reconnaissance aircraft. He would later fly even higher and faster in the stealthy SR-71 Blackbird, reaching Mach 3 and over 80,000 feet, able to cross sea to shining sea in just 1 hour.
One of the key things that really was exciting was the altitude. That was kind of a tingling sensation the first time you started passing through altitudes that you had never been to before, and neither had anybody else. Again, now the airlines are still flying at basically 35,000, most airlines. And here we are at 85,000 feet. When we look down and see an airline or a contrail, it's just a speck. Just the fact that you're 85,000 feet going 2,000 miles an hour, that's exciting.
From the time he was a kid, all John Goldenbaum wanted to do was fly. John reached that dream and much more with 2 tours in Vietnam and later as an Air Force F-5 aggressor Top Gun and F-15 squadron commander in the 1st Fighter Wing at Langley Air Force Base. Now, Goldenbaum and his company Polyfiber Incorporated restores vintage aircraft, helping keep them as a part of our living history.
You know, it's really the only thing that I ever wanted to do. I can't recall ever wanting to be anything but a pilot. And so I'm now entering my 55th year as an active pilot. I guess most of the neighborhood kids wanted to be cowboys or drive a fire engine. I wanted to be a pilot, and I got there. I feel that I was really blessed to be able to be a military fighter pilot, a general aviation pilot. I was an airline pilot, and of course now I've kind of concentrated on flying antique and classic airplanes, so I've kind of done the gamut. So if I could talk to any young person at all, whether it's in aviation or not, I'd say, you got that dream buried in there somewhere. Stop at nothing to achieve it, and you'll have a wonderful life.
In the words of General George Patton, Sergeant First Class Leroy Arthur Petrie would rather live for something than die for nothing. He is the recipient of the U.S. military's highest decoration, the Medal of Honor, for his actions in Afghanistan in 2008 during Operation Enduring Freedom.
This wounded Ranger, this 28-year-old man with his whole life ahead of him, this husband and father of 4, did something extraordinary. He lunged forward toward the live grenade. He picked it up. He cocked his arm to throw it back. And what compels such courage? What leads a person to risk everything so that others might live?
I think patriotism is one of the biggest things that our country can continue to have and to educate our youth about. I tell people that not everyone has the opportunity to serve, but everyone that's here in America has the opportunity to be a patriot. And that's what makes a difference in our communities and to our nation. I just want to continue to make a difference to the people that are next to me and the people that I can reach out to. And that's the biggest impact in my life, is not doing it for recognition, but doing it because it's the right thing to do, and having the initiative to take that first step.
History is an unpredictable mistress, but whatever she directs, you can be sure tonight's honorees will be there to partake. They are warriors who, in the words of Robert Heinlein, voluntarily stood between the desolation of war and civilization, time and again. Tonight's honorees push the bounds of flight and valor in ways previously unimagined, changing the course of human history through their remarkable achievements. As Mike Viper Metcalf would say, in case some of you are still wondering who is the best, they're sitting right next to you. Join me as we salute the Palm Springs Air Museum's 2018 honorees, our Top Guns.